Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. I have another Monday quarterback video for you. I'm going to play this video and talk about things that are going on. I better explain what's going on and talk about things that I think that are being done right and or done wrong. Here we go.
Hello everyone, I'm Detective Brandy George with the Mesa Police Department. This critical incident community briefing will provide you with information about an officer-involved shooting that
Skip.
investigation conclude the facts are known and the investigation worn camera video as part of officer using. Viewer discretion, sensitive viewers.
Hello, I'm Detective Richard Encinas. On Friday, June 24th, Hello, I'm Detective Richard Encinas. On Friday, June 24th, 2022, Mesa police officers patrolling on East University Avenue witnessed a man jaywalking in the street and nearly get hit by a car. Officers stopped the man, identified as 54-year-old Paul Newman.
You take a seat right here, man. We're talking to you because you jaywalked, man. You almost got hit. I don't know if you noticed.
As Newman squatted down by the chain link fence, the officer noticed a bulge on Newman's right side. He alerted the other officer who was with him.
I did it straight across, though. Hey, do you have a gun on you? No, sir. I did it straight across, like you said. What's that on the left-hand side? Don't reach for it. Put your hands on your head.
The first officer approached Newman as the second officer remained several feet back. The officer told Newman that it looked like he had a gun and pointed to his right side.
Man, put your hands on your head, please. Why? Because it looks like you have a gun right there. And if
Newman reaches with his right hand to his rear waistband and starts to stand up. The first officer was standing right next to Newman and reaches for Newman's hands while asking Newman what he has.
That's not it.
I'm gonna show you the gun. Look.
Okay, chill out, dude.
I'm gonna show you the gun, man. Don't shoot me. I ain't got.
What do you have?
I ain't got a gun. Don't.
Newman reaches with both hands towards his waistband and pulls out a handgun and fires one round. That's when the second officer shot back.
I ain't got a gun. Don't make sure. Don't make sure.
As you can see, this all occurred in a matter of seconds. Here's that video again and slowed down so you can better follow the movements.
Why? Because it looks like you have a gun right there. And if that's not it...
Here is the video from the second officer's body-worn camera.
Don't shoot me. I ain't got.
What do you have?
I ain't got a gun. Don't make sure. Don't make sure.
Upon seeing the flash and hearing the gunshot from Newman's gun, the second officer pulled his duty weapon and fired multiple rounds. Simultaneously, the officer that had approached Newman saw the gun in his hand, began backing up, and fired his duty weapon. Both officers took cover by the patrol car while waiting for backup officers.
1998, we're south of 81st.
When those officers
Get back in the vehicle.
An action team was formed and Newman was giving commands. Newman did not respond to the commands, so a less lethal beanbag round was deployed.
Hey, listen to me. Do not reach for the gun. Do you understand me? Do not reach for the gun. Roll away from the gun.
Let me switch out with him.
Hey, look.
Come on.
I got a taser behind me if you want to hold another.
Don't move! I'll give him verbals. Roll on your stomach!
I got him verbals.
Roll on your stomach!
You need to roll on.
Alright, before we go any further, let's back up to the initial contact.
of seconds. Here's that video again and slow down so you can better follow the movie. The officer
See right here, man.
man jaywalking in the street and nearly get hit by a car. Officer stopped the man, identified as 54-year-old Paul Newman.
You take a seat right here, man. We're talking to you because you jaywalked, man. You almost got hit. I don't know if you noticed.
As Newman squatted down by the chain link fence, the officer noticed a bulge on Newman's right side. He alerted the other officer who was with him.
I did it straight across, though.
Hey, do you have a gun on you?
No, sir, I did it straight across, like you said.
What's that on the left hand side? Don't reach for it. Put your hands on your head.
The first officer approached Newman.
Don't reach for it.
So he notices that bulge on his side, and it ends up what it looks like later on. It looks like a cell phone case, or maybe like a Leatherman case or something like that, that is making that bulge. So that actually did not end up being the gun. The gun was on his other side. I like how he's telling him to keep his hands out where he can see him, put his hands on, out on top of his head, keeping his hands visible. So the guy is compliant in the beginning. Of course, he reaches back there for the object. A lot of people will do that. Hey, what is that? And they're stupid and they don't even think, and they just reach back there quickly. Like, at this point, he had no intentions of, hurting the officers. Well, he may have had the intention of eventually trying to hurt them, but in that moment, right then and there, he was not trying to take any action to do so. He was just, going to lift his shirt and show him the case, and like, hey, no, it's not a gun. People will do that all the time. They don't even think. They just reach real quickly. Knowing, that they have had to have watched videos before, with social media and stuff like that, news media, even if they don't have, social media, like they had to have seen news clippings of someone making a real quick move and then getting shot. But yet people will still do this shit. Even people who do have weapons on them, like knives and stuff. You ask someone, you got a knife on you? Yeah, right here. And they pull a fucking knife out like, motherfucker, I didn't tell you to take that damn thing out. But they're stupid. They don't even think about it. Like, they don't even think about the fact that, they're pulling a weapon out at this point. So, at first, like I said, he's compliant. You can tell, he's probably like a vagrant or something like that, and he's jaywalking. Something's probably off with him a little bit anyway, but not what he's doing right now is not totally off. Now, one thing I picked up on was the fact that he tried to keep walking after they stop and turn the lights on. Like, you're on this darkened road, and police car pulls up right in front of you, lights come on, and then you continue walking like, oh, yep, nope, nothing's going on here. I'm the only motherfucker around. Surely they're not here for me. Yep, I'm gonna keep walking. Yeah, that's odd. Like, that behavior is indicative of someone having something to hide. But this right here that's not abnormal. That actually happens quite a bit.
Put your hands on your head.
The first officer approached Newman as the second officer remained several feet back. The officer told Newman that it looked like he had a gun and pointed to his right side.
Man, put your hands on your head, please.
Why?
Because it looks like you have a gun right there. And if
Newman reaches with his right hand to his rear waistband and starts to stand up. The first officer was standing right next to Newman and reaches for Newman's hands while asking Newman what he has.
that's not it,
I'm gonna show
don't
you
reach
the
for
gun,
it.
look.
Okay, chill out,
I'm
dude.
gonna show you the gun, man. Don't shoot me. I ain't got a
What do you have?
I ain't got a gun. Don't.
Newman reaches with both hands towards his waistband and pulls out a handgun and fires one round. That's when the second officer shot back.
I ain't got a gun. Don't make sure.
Now, he starts to turn as he approaches.
Fires one round. That's when the second officer shot back.
I ain't got a gun. Don't make sure.
So he's in a squatted position. He starts to turn. He's lifting that shirt up in the back. I think that this guy is trying to show, no, that's not a gun on my side right there. There's two things going on at this point. Past that, either A, he is trying to discreetly pull that gun out and get it into play with the intentions of shooting these officers, and in the process of pulling that gun out, he does a negligent discharge. He's got his finger on the bang switch when he's not supposed to, and it goes off, and that ends up being to their advantage. Or B, this guy is trying to do a magician's trick, pull the gun out and toss it, and hope that they don't notice it. Now, people tossing shit right in front of the police happens quite a bit. There's been a lot of times where, officers will notice something laying on the ground and it's a bag or something. Could be drugs. But they don't know if that person threw it or not. And they go to look back on footage, and lo and behold, while they were standing there talking to the person, they happened to turn just, enough, or there was a moment in time where the officer wasn't exactly right there with them, and then the person took the object and threw it out. There's videos of, and I've noticed these more in Los Angeles videos, where police will go after a person and they'll take their gun and they throw it over a fence or on a roof or something. Like they'll be running and they'll reach for a gun and they throw it. Of course, you can't know what a person's intentions are. I mean, you don't know for sure they're throwing the damn thing on the roof. Just like we don't know for sure if this is what this guy's intentions are, to turn his body, his gun side away from him, pull the gun and toss it while moving his right hand around his back area as a distraction, like, hey, look back here, and then throw the gun to the side. They pat him down. They don't find anything. He walks away. They walk away. Then he goes back later and retrieves the gun. So like I said, two possibilities here. One, he for sure meant to try and harm these officers, or B, he very stupidly thought that he could pull a Houdini and get the gun off of him and ditch it without them knowing. Either way, it's on him. Like, even if he had no intentions of hurting them, he was just, wanting to throw it away so he wouldn't get caught with a gun, he still did a stupid fucking thing and brought this upon himself.
As you can see, this all occurred in a matter of seconds. Here's that video again, and slowed down so you can better follow the movements.
Why? Because it looks like you have a gun right there, and if that's not it...
Here is the video from the second officer's body-worn camera.
Don't shoot me.
What do you have?
I ain't got a gun. Don't make me stop. Don't make me stop.
Upon seeing the flash and hearing the gunshot from Newman,
Don't shoot me.
What do you have?
I ain't got a gun. Don't make me stop. Don't make me stop.
What do you have?
I ain't got a gun. Don't make me stop. Don't make me stop.
So it happens very quickly. Like, super
What do you
quick.
have?
I ain't got a gun. Don't make me stop.
So I think that as he was pulling the gun out, like I said, I think he did a negligent discharge. I don't think he intended for that gun to go off when it did.
Don't shoot me. What do you have? I ain't got a gun. Don't make sense.
And then the pointing at him.
What do you have? I ain't got a gun. Don't make sense.
It's possible that he's losing his balance and the gun just happens to be pointing at him. Possible. Even if that's the case, there's still nothing wrong with what these officers done. Again, this dude, if this is him trying to ditch the gun, shit went south, not going the way he's planning it. He indeed, while trying to toss it, and then lost his balance, and as he's losing his balance, his arms are flailing, and the gun, by happenstance is pointing in their direction, and they light him up. Even if that's the case, he had no intentions of, actually harming them. It's just a bad series of events on his part. Again, nothing wrong with what the officers did, because the officers do not have this luxury of going back and hit and replay multiple times, watching this thing happen multiple times, and being able to form an opinion on it. They get to see it one time as it's happening. And that's what you have to act off of. And based off what they've seen, the dude shoots a gun, and then the gun is pointed towards them. Absolutely, they're justified in lighting this dude up. 100%. Mag dump into him. However, watching it multiple times, I'm kind of thinking this dude was probably just really stupid and was going to try and ditch the gun. But he still got what he deserved. I mean, you shouldn't... That's a stupid move. Like, don't do that. The lessons that we learn are written on the tombstones of others. And this guy played a stupid game and won a stupid prize, if that's what he was doing. And then, like I said, it could be that he was intending to harm them.
Don't shoot me. What do you have? I ain't got a gun. Don't make sense. Don't make sense.
Upon seeing the flash and hearing the gunshot from Newman's gun, the second officer pulled his duty weapon and fired multiple rounds.
So good reaction time on this guy. I mean, that's, shooter ready, beep. Good reaction time on him.
Simultaneously, the officer that had approached Newman
and, good reaction
saw
time
the
on this
gun in
guy
his
too.
hand, began backing up, and fired his duty weapon. Both officers...
Yeah, good reaction time on him. Gun went boom, and as it's coming up, his gun's already out the bucket and is coming up on the guy. This officer, he did the right thing. It's a deadly physical threat in front of him, and he's dealing with it. This officer is not wasting time with some bullshit, drop the gun, de-escalate mantra. It's a deadly physical threat. There is no time to talk. Talking has already gone out the window at this point. This dude has pulled a gun. He's fired the gun. There's no talking to be done at this point. It's just fighting. Fighting for your life. And that's what this officer does. He's fighting for his life, and he's fighting for the life of his partner. He is decisive in his actions. He is committed to his actions here. There is no hesitation. He's quick. He's aggressive. He gets the job done.
Upon seeing the flash and hearing the gunshot from Newman's gun, The second officer pulled his duty weapon and fired multiple rounds. Simultaneously, the officer that had approached Newman saw the gun in his hand, began backing up, and fired his duty weapon. Both officers took cover by the patrol car while waiting for backup officers.
1998, we're south of 81st.
When those officers
Get back in the
arrived,
vehicle.
an action team was formed and Newman was giving commands. Newman did not respond to the commands, so a less lethal beanbag round was deployed.
Hey, listen to me. Do not reach for the gun. Do you understand me? Do not reach for the gun. Roll away from the gun.
Let me switch out with him.
Hey, look.
Come on. Don't move!
So it looks like he took a position. It looked like he had an officer who had a rifle out and was on target with it. Had him switch out. He gets on point and then charges his fucking rifle. Like, that rifle should have already been charged before you got to that point. Like, that's a fail right there.
I'll give him verbals. Roll on your stomach! Roll on your stomach!
You need to roll on your stomach for it. Do not reach for the gun. We see the gun there. Do not reach for it.
Once secured, officers rendered aid to Newman,
Okay, here we go.
and he was taken to the hospital and recovered from his injuries.
Keep your hands over their head. Okay? Do not move. We're going to give you some first aid. Do you understand?
On-scene investigators recovered a .45 caliber handgun. The gun had one round in the chamber, several rounds in the magazine, and there was a spent .45 casing in the area where Newman fired his gun. A smaller Derringer-type handgun was also recovered from Newman's pocket. In Newman's backpack, investigators uncovered large quantities of methamphetamine, heroin, and pills. Newman is facing multiple charges, including aggravated assault, prohibited possessor, drug charges, and an outstanding felony warrant. Neither officer was injured in this incident, and per use of force policy, an internal investigation is underway.
Yeah, so dude's a dirtbag.
In Newman's backpack,
Lots of drugs. It's got prior criminal history. Has a warrant out for him. So, dude's obviously a piece of crap. The tactic of shooting a less lethal into someone to gain compliance out of them after they've already been shot with lethal ammunition, I think that's a good tactic. If they're not complying, by all means, use whatever force means necessary to gain compliance and apprehend them. Even if they are appearing to be incapacitated, there's nothing wrong, in my opinion, with popping someone with a beanbag or even a taser before making that full approach and going hands-on. For all you know, they could be playing possum and just waiting for someone to get up there so they can take somebody out with them. If you can stand off and pop somebody with a beanbag, pop somebody with a pepper ball gun, then by all means, do it. That's the safest thing to do. That way, when the people approach, they know, okay, this person's most likely incapacitated. He just got shot in the ass with a beanbag. He did not yelp. He did not wince. He did not make any movement. Like, the only movement was him jiggling a little bit when the impact munition hit him. And of course, if they start moving at that point, you know they're playing possum, and start giving them verbal commands to get them to do what you want to do. And if not, continue to deliver force until they comply, or they can continue to sit there and be defiant and refuse to comply and bleed out. And then they will stop moving at that point. Use of taser, I think, is good. Now, interesting view here. You do see the officer making the approach and then tilting the taser sideways. So I've seen other videos before where, you know, they'll be approaching someone and they'll be holding the taser like you normally would a gun, and they never tilt it to the side to accommodate for the person laying on the ground in a horizontal plane. That's an important thing to consider with a taser because of the probe orientation. The cartridges go in, one way. One probe's at the top, one probe's at the bottom. Depending on angles and stuff, yeah, you could hold it in a normal way and hit a person who's laying on the ground. But from, an angle like this, obviously you're going to have to turn that taser all the way to its side to get the darts to line up like you want them to. On older taser units where it's just one laser, there's some guesswork involved there. The thing I like about the Taser 7 and the X2 is it has dual lasers on there, and the Taser 7 lasers are pretty unique, pretty bright, and they show very clearly the approximation of where those probes are going to hit, so you can more easily line up a taser hit on someone using those lasers. But good on him for recognizing the issue there and holding that taser sideways so that if he has to deploy it, he's going to get most likely a good hit on target and be able to achieve NMI.
Do not move. We're going to give you some first aid. You understand?
Not much else to say about this video. This is pretty clear cut. Dude pulled a gun on the police and fired this gun, and police fired back. Now, like I said, one of two things was going on there. Which one, don't know for sure. But yeah, don't pull guns on the police. Bad shit happens. If you like what you hear and see, go ahead and give me a like and a share. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more Monday quarterback videos. Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching.